We're J&J. He's Justin.
That's Jared.
We are two leashed dads that get together to discuss our everyday lives while chained to our parental responsibilities. And tonight, we're discussing some interesting stories that I reached out to some people on Facebook to get a hold of some, as well as maybe some of our own. How you doing, man?
Trying not to make you crack up as we started up this episode. I'm actually exhausted. Again. Yeah. It's, let's just say, even though Kate had a third tournament, but this one was in the hometown area, so we didn't have to necessarily be up extremely early. But today we weren't home earlier than usual. We were actually basically at the tournament all day. So from the time we got there, which was about 10 to 9, so basically from like 9 to 3 o'clock. Because his bracket was filled with 7 people, which gave, the goal of this tournament was actually supposed to let every kid have at least like 3 or 4 matches or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
He had a bracket of 7 people, including himself, and his mat that he was on, because when they do these tournaments, they're not just, it's not just one group or bracket, which is his group and on one mat, all going at a time.
Okay.
No, they kind of have it broke. They've got so many different groups of children, weights, ages, classes like that. And you're throwing them all on these mats, so you go through the first round for each of them, and then kind of second round, third round, whatever they're called at that point. So, the matches can all take up to a full 3 minutes, as they're all a minute apiece, basically. Each round is a minute apiece, three rounds, 3 minutes, unless somebody gets pinned, depending on where they get, what round they get pinned in, whatnot. But it was very exhausting, knowing that we had to go through multiple matches this time compared to the others, where it was 3 people in total in his bracket. This one had against 7. So it was actually funny, too, because Kane's first match this morning was actually against a guy that he played when we went out to Oconto Falls. A national, like a state, or not, I won't call him a state championship, but he was a state champion and attendee who took 6th place at state, which isn't bad. But Kane got to play him again and lost, but he still got good experience from it. I mean, he still made the kid work for the victory, and by all means, it was great. And it was really funny, too, because at first I didn't recognize it, but after Sam and I had talked about it, we realized it's the same kid. Kane realized it was the same kid that he wrestled earlier, back in February, middle of February here. But he had his hair braided and everything. So it was really cool, and, they kind of chilled out with each other for the rest of the day or whatnot as their tournament just kind of fell through. On top of that, I'm recovering from a head cold. Yay, children, just passing around wonderful things, colds, what there may be. I'm pretty sure it was like a sinus infection, but not like severe by any means. It was just kind of now going about.
Right.
So not too bad. I think another highlight here for myself was really, though, going to the PAC for the first time in a long time with my mother, and we saw an Irish band. It was called Michael with Ireland. That's what it was. So basically, Michael, this Irish guy who was born in Ireland, he came over and he did crack some jokes, which is pretty cool. Basically says, like you call the Irish, the people of Ireland Irish. He cracked a joke that he was from Ames, Iowa, so he was Iowish. a little fun there, like Iowish.
Yeah.
But he, so it was really cool because I loved hearing his accent the entire time. But he's a great singer. I actually have one of his CDs, and it is signed by him. So like I bought the CD. Well, correction, my parents bought it for me, technically. But I wanted it because I like the music that they were playing, and I actually am starting to enjoy more of the international music in a way, rather than just some plain old English music, or rap or whatever. But some of the more of the like international music out there nowadays. Like I've always been a big fan of Celtic music.
Me too.
So it's just nice in hearing. Now I will say Celtic music is slightly different than Gaelic music, but I mean it all depends on where you're from too. Like if you're from Scotland, it's a little more Celtic, but I won't dive into that rabbit hole at all, for the fact that I don't want to get it wrong and be branded as a dumbass. Not like I already am, but even more so, branded more of a cultural dumbass. But yeah, so Michael with Ireland was fantastic, and that show was his very first show in public after 3 years.
Because of COVID?
Yeah. Because of COVID. So, and they started off with their tour at the PAC, which is amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a godsend. This is the first time I get to see another show that is touring again at the PAC first, before it goes elsewhere. It's kind of like when I saw the one-man Star Wars show. He does it's literally a guy that goes through like the original trilogy. He just kind of does the movie plots. Like he'll act as like C-3PO, he'll act as R2-D2, he'll act as Luke, he'll act as Han, Leia, Chewie, Vader, Palpatine. It's phenomenal. And he actually has another one-man show too. It's called I think it's One Man Marvel Show. Or Avengers or something like that. So he'll go through like the Avenger movies as well. It's really entertaining watching one man just do it all. So
sounds interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. Not gonna lie, especially when you have to memorize so many different lines or whatnot, or at least the main lines that really can still tell the story without having to go into like side details and whatnot. So yeah, it was nice to see that, and just kind of chilled for the rest of the weekend. I actually got a lot of cleaning done too around the house on Saturday. More or less swept and mopped my floors and cleaned the dog room up. So yeah, that's my weekend, but trying to get through it. So Jared, hit me up. How was your weekend?
It was a good weekend. Too short,
smiling,
as
guys.
per usual. It was a long week, just with the first of the month popping up on, what was that, Wednesday or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. And Natalie had a office get-together, well, not an office get-together, but a party for her company. So we were in your neck of the woods Friday night into Saturday morning.
God, I can't believe you're taking me up on any of those dinner offers. What the hell's wrong with you?
I know. Well, just, I don't know. I normally don't drink that much, and what?
It seemed like you really wanted the buffalo chicken that I got my inspiration from.
I was hoping to have some free time, but I normally don't drink that much, so when there was open bar, I kind of just did whatever, and my stomach didn't like it. So either it was either the buffet or the alcohol. Either way, my stomach was starting to turn, and I wanted to get back to the hotel. So,
so you're saying that drinking is not your strong suit anymore?
No. Once
like
you stop it, right? Once you stop, I think your body gets used to not having it in your system. When you start again, then it starts to kick your ass. So
it's really funny.
Yeah.
I took a shot of Goldschlager earlier today, and all of a sudden it hit. I don't want to call myself a lightweight, but it felt like I was a lightweight. Because I started feeling like really hot and bothered in a way. I'm like, oh God, no. And this is just a shot. But then again, I didn't really have much sustenance in my body either.
Well, that doesn't help.
I didn't have no.
They had a band. It was very, very loud. My ears were ringing for a good couple hours afterwards. But it was good to see old coworkers again.
I love that.
Because I used to work where she works, so it was a good time.
Okay. That was going to be my question. I thought you worked at the same part. I thought you guys still worked at the same place then.
No, I left just for monetary reasons, and I'm glad I did because it really helped my family grow a little bit faster than if I would have stayed. So, you know, I'm really loving this time alone with my wife, because we really never were comfortable leaving our young kids with anybody overnight. So now that we kind of broke the seal, what was that, a month ago? It's kind of just like, okay, when's our next trip? When are we...
God,
when are we going to ditch the kids
You're going to be those parents. No, it's, you know, I love that idea that you guys are actually willing to do that too, because I think a lot of families out there, you know, as I know there's probably still some more things you want to talk about for your week, but really you talk about getting away and after breaking that seal and being more or less being uncomfortable to break that seal in the first place, and now you're like, when do we get our next date night?
Yep.
Right. That is very critical.
And it helps.
It does.
It helps because the kids like going, you know, they don't want to be with us anymore. They want to actually they want to go to their grandparents' house.
When do I get to go see Grandma and Grandpa again? I don't want to be here with you guys.
Every day. Every freaking day they ask that now. So,
yep.
Whatever.
Because they have fun with Grandma and Grandpa. They get spoiled.
Right. That's right. Yep. So this was our second time in 5 years of just being alone together for the night. So,
well,
it was,
congratulations.
Much needed.
One of these days, Sam and I will have that luxury again.
One of these days.
You know, a 2-month-old.
How long has it been for you since your wedding, probably, huh?
No, it happens about once a year, depending. I mean, I say once a year because when we go on family vacation and whatnot, which we try to get maybe some time away, just the two of us or whatnot. But it depends on what's going on. Obviously, right now with the 2-month-old, it'll be very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But as the little one starts getting older, it'll be a little more suitable. So, yeah, we'll see. It's just rough right now. Raising an army in a sense, or like just one child short of an actual full basketball team. So, we're close. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned cleaning. Thursday night we went on a cleaning spree and just did the entire house top to bottom. So we came home to a clean house Saturday afternoon, which was really nice. Just kind of vegged all weekend. We went to the store and whatever. So
I love it. I love that. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so is it story time?
I don't know. Are you ready to kind of build a fire, get a cozy campfire going, and grabbing some sticks, guys, and making s'mores? Because I know it sounds like Jared's ready. Right now I really wish I had s'mores with me. But yeah, I think we can start talking about some stories. I don't know how graphic some of these are going to be, but as Jared mentioned,
chocolate. But no graham cracker and marshmallows.
Yeah, that's your problem. You don't have all the ingredients. God, what's wrong with you? But
I don't have a fire either, man.
I've got a heater. I've got a space heater by my feet. Does that count? We've got 2 of the 4 ingredients that we need.
I don't know.
5.
Try putting a marshmallow next to it and see what happens.
It'll get warm.
warm, but
get
not
warm. Like you throw it in a freaking microwave and watch it go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's I'm ready for some good stories. You know, I don't know how some graphic some of these might be based on what I have. Now it's funny because before we do get into any big stories here, like Jared mentioned before, he had reached out to some people or just reached out in general saying, do you have any stories that you want to share? Or, even maybe have me share. I had actually done this with my son, or one of my children. I'm like, do you have stories that, I want to see what they come up with. Do you have any parent stories or whatnot, or a story you want me to tell? Unfortunately, I didn't get any answer.
Oh,
I didn't get an answer I was hoping for a child story, adult turn, but a 5-year-old just kind of like, nope, got nothing. Didn't necessarily maybe have the reason click right away.
Dang.
But it's okay. It's all right. He's sleeping, so. I don't know. Let's... I kind of want to hear some of these other stories first that necessarily aren't Jared or myself related.
Okay.
So hit me.
We can do that.
Hit me.
So, there's one time my future brother-in-law was sitting on his couch, just minding his own business, watching TV, and his daughter comes out of nowhere. My niece comes out of nowhere and stuck her finger up her butt and wiped it on his nose and told him to smell her booty.
Does it taste like chocolate? Sorry, does it smell
He
like
lost
chocolate?
it. He was so pissed. And I would be too. I mean, if my kid did it to me, I don't know what the hell I'd do. I don't know if I'd laugh or throw up. I don't know.
I just can't believe that it... How the hell did we let this one slide by? We need an agent in here to filter... We gotta make sure these are clean.
No, I mean, I have more.
Kidding.
I have more ones.
It's all fine. It's actually really funny. I mean, you talk about you would almost lose it. I think. All right, you said he lost it.
He ran to the bathroom to scrub his face afterwards.
Oh, okay. That's pretty sanitary, right? Trying to become sanitary again. I'm glad when I don't want to think about what happened if he really lost it in a different way. But hopefully no children were harmed in the telling of the story. No. That would not be okay. But I think it's just kind of funny because that's funny shit right there. I think it would have been better though. So I was, Dad, does my finger smell like chocolate? Like, and doesn't even, he doesn't even realize that she stuck her finger up her butt. And now, it would still be funny though. I mean, it's still pretty funny that she said, "Smell my booty."
She knew what she was doing.
Oh yeah.
Where did she get that? Where did kids come up with these things?
I don't know. Just experimenting. What buttons can I push today for my father? But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good right there. Honestly, that's a pretty good story from your future brother-in-law. I can't wait for more. And I mean, it is what it is, right? I think it'd be funny to hear it from him personally, as there might be some additional details. But again, gotta keep it clean, as clean as can be.
Yeah,
like washing your face.
Yep.
All right. So with that one out of the way, I think that's a pretty good starter. I don't know. I'm struggling here. Like, now I don't know if I want to tell these stories, like my stories at all.
Why? Go ahead.
They don't sound very good all of a sudden. No, so I want to keep, let's take this outside a little bit. Actually get the idea of a campfire, cozy campfire here in the middle of winter.
People do that.
Yeah, so my kids, actually I think I was smelling a fire earlier tonight after I got home from whatever, or taking the trash out and whatnot. I was like smelling a fire because obviously with how warm it's been, people are finally coming outside again. But so in relations to being outside, having fun during summer or winter time, during winter periods, my kids want to go sledding, right? And I try to take them out a couple times during the season. And usually I'm a little too lazy to go too far. So I've gone to a hill that's fairly close to our house. But I've come to realize I really hate that hill now. Because once the snow and people start stepping on it more and more frequently as it gets used and patted down, it becomes very difficult to get up the hill. Especially when you have very young ones. And I myself am trying to get up the hill while trying to help my youngest son get up the hill is a burden. Because he's always slipping and sliding, can't get up. Even after telling him to go to the outside so you're not actually going up the hill where everybody is sledding down or sliding down it, he still struggles to get up. And hell, even I struggle. So it's officially safe to say I've said screw that hill, and now I'm taking the time, and I will take the time to go to a much more fun hill.
Where there's stairs or something.
Not really stairs, but it's not... I don't want to say it's not necessarily as steep, but it seems a hell of a lot easier for kids to actually get up the hill. Rather than be like...
Yeah.
So, for those of you that are just listening to audio, I'm making finger motions and then falling down. But going up, and fall, up, and fall. And then all of a sudden you get whining. It just kind of ruins the moment when they start whining because they can't get back up. And then you have,
Yeah.
But, yeah, so going to a new hill is all fun and games. The kids actually were able to have a lot more fun. Where it was like the hill you go down, and then there's like a bigger opening versus like a miniature pit in a sense, where everybody, so you just go down one direction, for example, and it's all fun and games, but there's plenty of room for people not to necessarily hit anybody as you make it down further into the hill. So it's going to be a hell of a lot more fun next year or times to come, but we will certainly see, because I'm excited to see what happens when the kids want to start having races. I mean, I actually did make some TikTok videos earlier this year about the hills, if people haven't watched them already. But, it's all fun and games because sledding is fun. As far as summer here, though, we have a bounce house. Like a little kid bounce house with a ball pit, and you can use it for water. Like, it's got like a hose that you can attach. It's got like a little, it's got a slide, like a mini slide in a sense. Mm-hmm. And you can attach like this plastic piece that goes around the bounce house, and you can turn the slide into a water slide. But then you also have like this little mini turret that you can sit at the... So
cool.
It is pretty cool. It's a good investment, because during the summer when we want to, which we have done this last year, we've actually had basically like I won't say a neighborhood party, but the little kids have always come over and wanted to play in the ball, the bounce house. And we do have balls with it too. So if we take those out, they're playing with the balls. So it's like a bounce house, ball pit, water thing as well. But we'll try to do that, and it's a great way to get all the kids together and play. So it was it's just a great experience, and a great way to socialize within the neighborhood. So I'm really looking forward to that again this year, because it's just a great way to get out of the house rather than being cooped up all the time. So
right.
But it's what comes from a kid's enjoyment is just so great, knowing that I can get the kids to enjoy the time outside, and them almost kind of begging me to pull out the bounce house. Dad, can we get it? It's too hot. I'm the one basically saying, no, I don't want to be out there. But but having these opportunities and solutions with a hose, or like a water hose, and being able to use that to cool off, that's always just great fun for them. So I'm going to, try to be more open for that as well. The kids always have fun outside. It's all about the kids, making sure they're having fun outdoors.
That's right. They got to get outdoors.
They do. What's next?
So next, I have an entry from my good friend Fabbie that I've known since high school. Went to college together. I'm going to read this one off my phone here. Don't have it memorized, unfortunately, but...
How do you not have these stories memorized? I'm kidding. How do you can't have somebody you haven't seen probably since college, right?
Well, she stayed in Whitewater. Not that I should be spreading her business around, but
I knew that.
Yeah, so that's why.
Yeah.
Anyway,
she's got like a little army of her own too.
Huh?
I think she's got like a little army of her own.
Yeah. Anyway, she accidentally slept in, and her daughter, 3 years old at the time, woke up and found some scissors, and she cut her hair and Barbie's hair. I woke up and saw hair all over her room, and I thought it was all her Barbie hair until I felt it, and then she turned around and she had a mullet. So she cut...
Holy smokes. Somebody get her into a salon now.
That's what she had to do. She had to go to her friend that has a salon just to fix it.
Oh, no. Get her in salon school.
Oh, yeah,
this is the start of a good thing. It's a good career to get into. And hopefully he can make it cheap, because nowadays everything is so damn expensive for haircuts. Although, that guy right there doesn't have to worry. He's bald.
Yep.
My hair, though, on the other hand, is getting a little long. Maybe I should have her daughter come and cut my hair. Give me the mullet.
I'm sure we can arrange that.
That's a 2-3 hour drive I don't want to make.
Right. And then she also has a second story here.
Oh.
A couple months ago, her daughter thought it would be a great idea to walk to McDonald's by herself. Which, if you guys know Whitewater, which you probably don't, but McDonald's is kind of in a central part of the relative town, I guess. It is the fast food
restaurant there.
Right. It's the only, well...
It's not the only one. That's not... It is the most centralized fast food restaurant.
Correct.
Actually, no. Because I don't know if Qdoba's still there anymore. But for a little side detail, Jared and I both went to Whitewater for school, and
right.
McDonald's is basically pretty much the centralized fast food that's really close to the campus. I mean, they do have a Taco Bell that's kind of on the outside of one direction.
Of town.
It's not really outside of town. It's still within Whitewater, but you're basically leaving Whitewater to get there. And they have it's over by the movie theater, so it's actually, it's like a 10-minute drive. So
right,
yeah,
or a half an hour walk.
Yeah, or a half-hour walk. But yeah, okay. So her daughter decides to walk to McDonald's, huh?
Yep, and was found 2 hours later by at a gas station down the road from McDonald's.
How the hell do you let a child go?
I think she just got up and left. I don't know.
That's really weird. Okay, it is a small town. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure the majority of Whitewater is campus population. That's not necessarily true, guys. It's still a fair size, but there are definitely, campuses, or the University of Whitewater makes up probably half the city's population at that point. So
Yeah.
no, I was gonna say maybe it's time to put a leash on her or some sort of notification collar saying, "I'm leaving, I'm leaving, I'm leaving. Stop me."
I mean, I can kind of see how it would happen because there's a spot in our backyard where if the kids go behind the garage, we can't see them, and we're not exactly outside in winter. We're inside cooking, and we can see. Huh?
Do you know what they call that?
What?
A blind spot.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Literally.
But, so, we watch them, or mainly Natalie watches them while she's cooking dinner out the kitchen window, which sees the entire backyard except for the blind spot. So, all it would take, I guess, is like a matter of a minute or two for them to just leave the yard. It's not completely fenced in.
Yeah. Our backyard's completely fenced in, but
Okay.
they don't ever like to go out in the backyard. It's always the front yard. Especially during wintertime where they're able to like build big snow hills and everything. But
Right.
I get where you're coming from, where you could probably lose them for a moment. So the good news is, though, we have cameras in certain areas of our house.
Oh, okay.
So I also have a Ring, so it's a video camera, but then I have 3 additional cameras around the house. So kind of removes, 2 of them kind of remove some blind spots, or I guess one of them doesn't really necessarily cover a blind spot. It's just providing extra coverage for the front of the house. One of them is, looking upon my neighbor's garage and ours for that matter. And it's actually a very good thing too, because this is an additional story, but it has nothing to do with children. A while back here now, we had an incident where there was a car or vehicle parked by our house that was basically abandoned because the person was being chased by the cops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we didn't know what was necessarily going on, but the vehicle got abandoned. The cops were trying to find this person, and lo and behold, he was sitting in our neighbor's garage. Not just sitting there, though, guys. He was doing some pretty sketchy shit. He turned on a lamp, because my neighbor has... he's like... I won't call him a mechanic, but he works for a car company. And he's got a vehicle that he's been working on, like a personal project, a nice Camaro.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's blue, and he's been working on it, putting it together, fine-tuning it, things like that nature. But the guy that was running from the cops hid in the garage for hours, lit up a lamp, and used that lamp to heat up some substance. And he was getting high. So, yeah. Eventually they caught him, though. Because they found I think they found the garage was cracked open or something. Like one of the doors was cracked, or the side garage door was cracked open. So something had happened where he was actually found, which is thankful. But ever since then, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want that to happen to me. And nobody knew. Nobody knew that he had actually walked in between our garage, like our driveways, and into their garage. Which is really weird.
So then you got cameras after that?
Yeah. Like, I kind of got cameras for, like, a Christmas present one year because I really wanted to do something like that where I want to kind of keep an eye on things, make sure nothing, if there is suspicious activity, because sometimes there is certain things that go on. I don't know what it is about our street, but our street, for some reason, has a lot of traffic that likes to go by. And I'm talking like people driving or just randomly see people walking down in the middle of the night. Because I think one time, people started humping on Sam's car.
What?
Yeah.
What's going on there in Appleton?
See? I don't know. Probably drunk. But at the same time, they stopped in our driveway for some odd reason and were on our vehicle for whatever reason. So, having cameras now is very, very nice. Be like, what the hell is going on? So, although the Ring does provide a very nice range already of, just a range of what it can see, but certain spots. So, if I can get more cameras up and running, I would love to. But it's a small house, guys. I don't have much need. So, but yeah, I mean, that's a side story right there, right? With just, talking about the blind spots and whatnot. So, trying to prevent blind spots and just keeping suspicious activity less suspicious, I guess. Or preventing suspicious activity, I should say. So, yeah. Who wants to hear a gruesome story? Maybe not.
Let's do it.
I won't say it's necessarily gruesome, but it's not it's not fun stories at all. It's ER worthy. I mean, in the literal sense of taking children to the ER. It's not, it's always I hate this feeling. I really hate taking them to the ER. Yeah. Because it's like, they get the bills. I swear the bills are costly. But when it comes to my children, they are very accident prone.
Oh, and no.
Kane specifically. No. Kane is like his mother. He is a klutz. And it is so weird. I swear. Now, a couple times. So, Kane's had a couple stitches already. Because he's horsed around at his aunt's place at one time or another. Not necessarily, excuse me, like a frog in my throat. Not necessarily like ER worthy at that point, but he's had stitches in his eye, like up his eyebrow. He's done some other things as well that have been cause for alarm. But the one that really sticks out to me here is he went on like a little trip with his grandma. He was going to stay at a cabin with some relatives for the weekend, but he wasn't feeling good.
Okay.
And she's like, "I'm bringing him home. Blah blah. I'm really concerned. I want to take him in, like take him to the ER." I'm like, "He's just got the flu," but she was really concerned. She was so concerned because like his stomach was hurting and bugging him and everything, and I'm like, he's just got the flu. But he was having a hard time keeping things down. But it being an overly concerned grandma, wanting to take proper care of him, whatever, she brought him home, and we ended up going into the ER for it, which is unfortunate because that's one of those. Excuse me.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's a little tickle all of a sudden. But I was actually taking my children out to dinner when I found out that they were coming back into town. Didn't have a chance to actually eat dinner at that point. Had to change plans, and actually, funny enough, I was going to the bar on Lyndale here in Appleton. It's a bigger, obviously, compared to the bar you were planning on going to on College, but this one on Lyndale here is actually pretty. It's like a full size bar, or like it's like a full size
Waverly
restaurant
Beach?
in a sense. Yeah, it's kind of like Waverly. So, It was a good time until that happened, where I had to basically get my boys back in the vehicle and go to the hospital. Or what? Yeah. So it wasn't fun, but ended up getting to the hospital, going there. I ended up leaving because my wife ended up showing up. So it's like, okay, we don't need everybody here.
Yeah.
So, and I said it was the flu. I was right. I know what it's like. Throwing up is never a fun thing. So that was kind of one of those things where it's never fun when you have to go to the ER for that. This one I know I've talked about before here, but it's still very worthy, just because of the damage that could have been and was. My middle son, Arlo, falling off a jungle gym, a good 5-6 feet off the jungle gym, and needing to basically come home, and he ended up going to the ER that weekend after going to urgent care. We still took him to the ER because he wasn't getting better. Not like he was showing any symptoms of a concussion, but he was complaining about his head hurting and other things going on, that it was just late enough in the middle of the night that we had to take him in. And obviously, ER is the only spot you can take him. Well, the ER did everything they could, and basically, they didn't really test for much, or they just kind of tested it for concussion. They also claimed that he had a type of COVID.
And
they kind of
one of the strains.
COVID-19, but there are other other variants of COVID out there that, it was one of those things. I'm like, okay, so it's just a cold. That's basically what I think to myself. Well, find out from there that he still feels like crap and everything, and so they took him Sam took him into the doctor. So his doctor visits have not, this year alone, or past year alone, has not been very good to him. Well, he has been in the ER a couple times, though, as well. I'm like, damn, my 5-year-old's gone to more ER visits than I have in my life. Like, the only time I really went into the ER for myself was when I had appendicitis and had to get my appendix removed.
I'm glad you went to the ER for that.
Well, I am too, because it was in the middle. If it wasn't in the middle of the night, I wouldn't have gone. But it was in the middle of the night. So it's like, my side was hurting. I think I actually stayed home from school that day. But yeah. But no. So Arlo's been to the ER a few more times. I don't necessarily remember the other reason why he was there, because it's such a blur. But it also was such a while back too. I think it was something that was going on with him, like stomach or other things. But yeah, needless to say, his concussion / strep was a big thing where when he went into the doctor's office for his actual appointment, the doctor was basically ready to inject him with a shot of amoxicillin, because it would have been faster acting. And he was getting so bad. Like, his throat was so bad from when they inspected him or took a look at him. So, yeah. But we gave him amoxicillin right away, and the very next day they basically, or whatever, when we had to take him back in, the doctors noticed massive improvement right there and then from the first dose and a half or whatever of amoxicillin. So it was nice. Very concerning though, because never have I seen strep alone be that bad, but then on top of that, worrying about the concussion as well. That was more or less the big concern, was a concussion versus other things. So the strep was kind of masked by all the other stuff, which thankfully we got that resolved. But Now, Nico, here's an interesting one. He actually has gone to the ER once. We took him into the ER because he had actually fallen in our house, fallen off our stairs a little bit, and he
Like high?
no, he was just on the bottom 2 stairs.
Oh.
But he had fallen and kind of hit his head, or hit his mouth.
You on
and-
landing?
Yeah, on the landing. So like we saw blood on like the ceramic tile that we have,
Okay.
and his teeth, like right about here. For those that are watching it on here on YouTube, he ended up. It looked like there was a little bit of metal in his teeth, like something got lodged in his teeth or in his gum.
Yeah.
So we took him in to the ER because it was again on late night. For some reason, my children have a way of getting hurt at night, mind you. So took him into the ER. They looked at it, kind of cleaned him up a little bit. Thankfully, there was nothing, no sorts of metal, because I thought it might have been a staple from the stairs or something.
Oh yeah, like the carpet.
Yeah, no sort of metal or anything. It was just like liquid, like a mixture of saliva and blood gave that metallic-y kind of look. So that was good. But he did have scrapes or contusions on his gums, and that was kind of a concern. So it was recommended we take him into the dentist. Thankfully, when the dentist took a look, there was nothing really of concern where he may not need any type of teeth work or anything like of that nature from there. Just need to make sure it's not, it looked a little loose or whatnot, but that's because of falling and smacking his head on the ground. But it wasn't like okay, it's cracked or it's really loose or lodged up further than it needs to be. So, yeah, I don't know what it is with my children and having to do late night visits to the ER, but it's got to stop. I don't think it ever will either. But those are, like I said, they're kind of gruesome, but kind of not. So, nothing like gunshot wounds or anything like that.
Let's hope not, for God's sake.
I know. Why would I ever say such a thing? I'm an idiot. I'm blonde, guys. Come on.
Jeez.
Sometimes I speak the stupid things. But yeah. Hopefully it never comes to anything such as that, because I would never be ready for that as a parent. Moving right along, though, into maybe some happier or funnier stories.
Now, we're back to the grossness.
Okay. Haven't left.
We'll
never leave.
My friend from high school,
He's got friends.
Another one, Krystal, while in his crib, her youngest son took a full poopy diaper and rubbed it all over the walls by his crib.
Oh, God.
Just because he wanted to do some wall art,
He's the next Picasso. Oh, God.
Yeah. Poop Costco.
Picasso. Picasso.
I told her,
It's
I said,
Picasso.
I don't know what the hell you did, but I know I would have immediately lost my cookies and just walked away, because I don't have a strong stomach to begin with. But I have trouble changing really raunchy, nasty diapers.
Oh, God.
Just by themselves. So if it's on the wall, I would definitely just check out and just move.
I've got a stronger stomach than that, at least. I can handle the raunchy diapers. We talk about poo art on the wall. God, I feel so bad for her having to go clean that up, but hey, at least we got Picasso on our hands. So hopefully, if you're looking for some poo art, guys, go to Picasso. He'll be willing to help you out. And all it costs is one dirty diaper.
Yeah.
And maybe watching him
Totally free.
watching him for a little bit, and whatnot, and just letting him, as long as you don't mind, letting him poo in your house.
Speaking of grossness, how are you with puke?
I think it really depends on how I can put my mindset. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. And I say this because we talk about, I've got 2 dogs, and sometimes they get, upset stomachs and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting there cleaning up their poo. Like, not recently, and their puke, but not recently. But it has happened where my dogs can't necessarily hold it in anymore. So I wake up in the morning, and this might be my fault too, forgetting to let them out in the middle at night. Or at night long enough for them to hold it till the next morning. But I've woken up and there's poo all over their room. So I'm having to clean it up. And these aren't little poops, guys. We're talking probably that big and sometimes puddly. Puddly.
And if those of you who are not watching, he's saying about a foot. About 6 inches to a foot.
Yeah. And not to mention the puddle or like the diarrhea form too is just never pleasurable. And you ready for the final detail? It's very smelly. That is the trigger. That is I think the biggest trigger. Like I can do it generally. I'll put the towel, like paper towel down, whatever, pick it up, or even use like a Walmart Quick Trip, whatever type of grocery bag I can find, and pick it up like I'm walking with them or whatever, and picking up their poop after them from there. The smell is what makes me gag, and that's where I start losing my stomach. Kind of prefacing it that way too. One time, I think it was Arlo, when he was still kind of like in a potty training phase back around COVID time, I think it was. Okay. It was so bad because he had an explosive diaper or pull-up. Okay. He made it to the bathroom.
Blowout.
It was a blowout. All over the floor, all over our curtains, like our bathroom curtains, all over the wall. Sam walks in, can't handle the stench. I walk in, I don't smell anything. So who had to be the one to clean it up? I was. Funniest thing was, at that time, I didn't think anything of it, but that was the onset of COVID.
Okay.
Thankfully, I was, not saying it's a good thing that I had COVID, but thankfully I didn't have a smell for it because I've smelled some of the other crap like that before, and it's kind of been a gut buster.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm terrible with puke, and my girls have only gotten sick in their bed. That's the only time they've gotten sick is in their bed.
Those are headaches to clean up.
And it's course, nice. After midnight usually, if not later in the night.
Yeah.
And I'm half asleep, jolted awake by crying and screaming because they're scared. And and I gotta take it back too that they don't know what's going on. They've only done this like maybe twice in their life, and they're scared. They don't know what this is. Mm-hmm. And then, I can handle, like, the teardown of the bed and getting it down to the washing machine and wash tub. But as soon as I try to rinse off the sick, I just can't. I have to get a contractor's mask and, like, some drops of dish soap or laundry detergent just on there so I don't smell anything at all.
Hey, there you go.
It's a whole production.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. I get where you're coming from too. Sometimes I do that too, but usually when I do have like some sort of mess like that, an explosive diaper or underwear, just because the child's too busy and they do shit themselves,
Yeah.
or they do have a vomit in the throughout the night because something happens where they get the flu or some sort of bug. Cleaning it up is never fun, but
No.
it's
But as a parent, it has to be done.
it has to be done. Yeah, you can't just let them sleep in their own vomit again because it's just going to happen. And for all of you, it's okay if you do have a weak stomach. There's nothing wrong with that. Hopefully you have like a significant other that has a decent stomach.
Yeah, and if you don't, get creative like me. Just find stuff around your house to help you through the next half an hour and just grab the bull by the horns, just get her done. Just get her done.
Yeah, agreed. So, no, I mean, hopefully. these are supposed to be somewhat fun or inspirational of ways to become creative or never be concerned, or too concerned, I should say. But don't fret. You're not the only ones out there dealing with some klutzy children or some problems with with ill children and having to find creative routes to clean up, their messes, their wastes, for lack of a better term. But let's see here. So shit for poo diapers, fun stuff there. Buttholes and smelling my butts. That's fun shit right there too. Pardon my French and my puns. So my family likes to do vacation on a yearly basis. And my kids, when we go up north, they get super excited to have fun, playing at a beach, going on a pontoon boat, what there it may be. We have this thing called the Rockin' Mabel. It's a big blow-up toy that you can hold, that you could put, like, you actually tie it, or you hook up to the boat or whatever, and you let the boat pull you, and so on and so forth. Fun as hell. But you've got a kid that's always like, I'm ready for it, I'm ready for it, I'm ready for it. All of a sudden you're on the pontoon boat. And even, no, sadly enough, my dad's the only one that can technically legally drive it.
Okay.
I would actually have to go get a boater's license in order to drive it because of the year that I fell. Like, anybody after, like, the year of 91 has to go get a boater safety or take the boater safety course or whatnot. Anybody before that or somewhere around that year range, anybody before that would be okay to drive it. Anybody after that range has to go get boater safety. Well, needless to say, my son, he's always like, I don't want to ride it. Even though Grandpa is offering to do it, like, slow. Now, mind you, this Rockin' Mabel is not very good slow because it's meant to, sometimes you're meant to be thrown off. But when you start slow, okay, so it's supposed to be flat, right? Essentially.
Right.
For those that are watching a video, excellent. For those that are just listening to audio, my hand is flat right now. But when you start going on the boat or the pontoon boat, it pulls, okay? So it pulls the rope, and it therefore lifting the Mabel up. So if you're not careful, you're going to get lifted up really high in a sense. And if you don't lean forward, you're probably going to fall back and fall in. So I think what gets him is the fact that falling into the lake is never ideal, especially when it's cold water. But I think it's also just a fear of riding it. Now, granted, there are two different ways to ride it. You can ride it where the back or like the support is in the front so you can hold on, or you sit back against it because there's like a little beam right here that you can lay against. Now it's, foam or tubes, so it's not like a very sturdy back, but it's kind of small back support there. But yeah, he'd rather try to throw people off. Now, granted, we're on a pontoon board, so we're not getting very much speed, but yes. But the kids always have such a good time being able to get away from... They're doing something completely different that's, as much as they do it for a week long, they're still hanging out with family members or different family members. They're playing tag. They're running around. They're playing on a jungle gym that they don't see all too often. They're just having a blast with it. And
That's awesome.
This allows sometimes for... like Sam and I to get away a little bit, as mentioned earlier in this episode here. Now, granted, we're not necessarily getting away, but sometimes we do like to go out to Walmart just to go get some supplies for the week or what there may be if we need to. Other than that, sometimes it allows us just to kind of pawn the kids off on other people, rather than us always having to be responsible. I don't want to say we're not responsible, but being the ones that are always on them. Like, Grandma will watch them,
right,
or my cousins will watch them, because they enjoy, like, my cousins enjoy having the little ones around. So, I gotta stop talking. Holy crap. I'm not gonna have a voice for tomorrow. But, yeah, family vacation's always been a blast, and the kids always enjoy being able just to escape life. Even though they're still innocent, to a degree, they're just able to escape and enjoy a different type of life for themselves. So, hey, Jared, last one. Let's go.
So, one day, I came home from the office to find our upstairs covered with drawings on the walls with marker. It was all great. So that was just the top of the stairs. I see the drawings, the squiggly lines, and I was, oh boy, what the hell happened here? I look into my wife's office, and it's all over the carpet, all over the mirror, it's just a freaking disaster. And so that, it's not a great story, but imagine walking up to your upstairs and just seeing graffiti everywhere and just trying to make a game plan in your head about how to clean it up. Magic erasers, my friends. Magic erasers, Mr. Clean.
Mr. Keen, Magic Erasers.
We are not sponsored by them, but they are very helpful in those situations.
They certainly have been, and you're not alone there. I've done that before, too.
Yeah. And lastly, my daughter, Eleanor, has my sense of humor, and in which we like the cringy humor, where we like to laugh at people getting mad. So when she tries to piss her sister off because she thinks it's funny, I have to not laugh.
Oh, God.
Because I think it's funny, too, that she's getting all worked up and pissed off. So I have to restrain myself.
You're terrible. You're terrible.
Because I've cracked a smile once or twice, and I paid dearly for that, because that just made her do it more. So,
yeah, you encourage her to egg her sister on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not good. But yeah, I know what that's like, and you talk. Are they like jokes at all too, or how does she egg her on?
Like singing very loudly, and she doesn't want her to sing very loudly.
Being a nuisance.
So being a nuisance, annoying the crap out of her.
Yeah. Purposely. Got it.
Yep.
That makes sense. I know. Yeah, my kids. I love my kids and their sense of humor too. Like Kane, for example, has a joke book and everything here. And the joke book is a different, is great, but he also likes to try to claim something's a joke when he's, probably doing it to be annoying sometimes. Or other people, he's trying to make it a joke, but at the same time, it's not necessarily a joke to other people. So, but with that being said, it's great, right? I don't have a theme for tonight's jokes, guys. I'm sorry. But I was addicted to the hokey pokey. But I turned myself around.
That's what it's all about.
And that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Here, I think this one's kind of funny. Or I shouldn't say this one is kind of funny, but how many narcissists does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Mm-hmm.
1. The narcissist holds the light bulb while the rest of the world revolves around him.
Was that supposed to be funny? I don't.
I mean, it seems kind of true, though, right?
It is true. It's more like a truth statement than a joke.
Yeah, that's true. Got me there. Today, my son asked, "Can I have a bookmark?" I burst into tears. 11 years old, and he still doesn't know my name is Brian.
Oh, that's awesome.
Here, this one for all you people out there, because it's, this one's actually pretty cool. At least I almost laughed when I just read this. But the past, the present, and the future walked into the bar. It was tense. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Nobel.
Nobel who?
Nobel, I just knocked.
Oh. That's cute.
Yep. Well, guys, that's it for the jokes. I just had to get a knock knock in there for no reason. Hey, I hope you appreciate the story time here. Maybe we'll do some more of this down the line. I think this is a great idea. Stepping away a little bit from some serious conversations, having maybe more of a funny or kind of just a different side of Leashed Dads tonight. So hopefully you enjoy it. If you have any stories you want to share, you want us to share for you, leashdads14@gmail.com. You can always send us a message on Anchor FM. But do find us on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, and again, like I said, Anchor FM as well. So without further ado, parents always have their ups and downs, but you gotta roll with the punches and understand that shit happens.
Amen. Literally, yes.
Jared, as always, thanks for being my amazing constant co-host, and we'll see you all next week.